Continuing with our derivative skills, this is the quotient rule. Okay, so let's look at what this looks like in terms of words. So with the quotient rule, you know that we are going to have a fraction. And with the fraction, we have a bottom and we have a top. Or we have a numerator and a denominator. Numerator, because you'll hear me go back and forth between numerator and denominator, or top and bottom. But it's the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. And then I've written it out for you in a little shortcut formula too. B derivative of t minus t derivative of b all over b squared. And unlike the product rule where order doesn't matter, order absolutely matters with this, mainly because of that minus sign. We have to start out with the bottom times the derivative of the top. Okay, in this one, so you identify the top, right, as m minus 5, and the bottom as 2m minus m squared. So let's start. The derivative is going to be the bottom, 2m, minus m squared, times the derivative of the top. Well, the derivative of m minus 5 is simply 1, minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, 2 minus 2m. See, our basic rules come back into play, all over the bottom squared. We put it in parentheses, 2m minus m squared squared, and that's our derivative. Okay, so for our second example here, when we look at this, the only thing that you may want to make sure that you think about in the bottom is that certainly would be h to the 1/2 power. But let's go ahead and get this started. So we would say g prime of h, the bottom, so I'm going to write it as 7 minus h to the 1/2, times the derivative of the top, so I move through the top, 2h minus 1/4. So here we have, that's the bottom, that's the derivative of the top, minus the top, so that's going to be h squared minus 1/4 h, times now the derivative of the bottom. The derivative of the bottom is simply going to be, remember the derivative of 7 is going to be 0, so this is going to be negative 1/2 h to the negative 1/2. And I put this one in here because you look at the bottom as a separate part. It's just the piece. I don't want you to be thinking about it being in the denominator and confusing yourself. You're just going to take the derivative of what the bottom is, and then you're going to put all of that over the bottom, which is 7 minus h to the 1/2 squared. And that's the bottom squared. Okay? Now remember, you might want to pause this video and go back through it and make sure you're picking up the little nuances of each of these. Okay, so in this last one that we're going to do on this video, I've got a couple of things that I do want to just rewrite a little bit. I think all of you would agree that this piece is 4x to the negative 1, and we want to make sure that we don't forget about that negative in front when we go to find the derivative. And then this little piece is actually x to the 2/5 power. And whether you rewrite the whole thing or not, that's something that you would certainly want to do as we start this. Okay, so let's say h prime of x. So the bottom. So the bottom is 3 minus x to the 2/5 power times the derivative of the top. So the derivative of x is 1 minus 2x for x squared, and then we're going to have plus, because -1 when it swings down and multiplies by that negative would become positive 4x to the -2. And remember again, this is the bottom, this is the derivative of the top, minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. So the derivative of the bottom there is going to be what? -2/5 x to the -3/5. Right, so you might want to check that with me, but again, this is the top, derivative of the bottom, and then all of that over the bottom and notice again that we don't simplify. So take a look back through this video, make sure that you understand the process, and just check through these and work through them again, and you should be able to do some of the ones in your lab manual.